welcome to episode 39 of my knitting podcast. I'm Marleen and I live in the Netherlands and I am from the Netherlands, and I hope you can understand me because of course I have a big Dutch accent. And I'm going to talk about knitting. So hence the knitted colorwork cardigan that I'm that I'm wearing. I thought about this cardigan a lot, so I'm not going to tell you anything about it now, only the name. And it's the Agnes Kofte. So I had to look that up. I forgot it already. So it's a beautiful pattern and I made it with the Rauma Fino. But if you want to hear me talk about it a little bit more, you can watch a different episode. I would really love to start with all the knitted things that I have knitted. I haven't finished anything, but I have a lot to tell you because there were a lot of dilemmas and dramas around my knitting. And also because I am at the moment kind of busy, so knitting is not really my priority, but even though it has to be my priority because I already knew that, but I figured it out even more that knitting is really something that I recharge from. It's a recharger for me. So when my energy is low, I need to knit and to recharge and go, how you say? And to continue. And that's really has helped me a lot of times during my life, knitting. When I was younger, I used to knit a lot and then I stopped it again and then I picked it up again. And now it's continuously actually a big part of my life. But actually, when I'm not knitting, then you should worry and ask yourself, how is Marleen going? How is it going with Marleen? I really think that knitting can help you so much to get more comfortable. I had a burnout in 2017, I think. It's a long time ago. I knitted a lot at that period of time, and actually then the new era of knitting began, and I totally addicted to it now, and I cannot let go of it. And maybe that's also sometimes different or difficult to say if it's helping me at this moment or that it's sometimes too much. So I don't know if you recognize this, but if it's knitting has been a form of therapy for you as well, then it can also be that there's sometimes a little bit disbalance of too much knitting because you don't need that much therapy. I don't say. But yeah, on the other side, it gets me a lot of nice garments as well. So, but it's a different hobby than, for example, surfing or climbing or anything else that I like to do. That also makes it sometimes a little bit difficult to let it go, because then you would also, at least I could have had the feeling then that I'm missing my therapy, if you know what I mean. But for now, for me, it's really looking for that right balance. So that's why I didn't finish anything, and I actually am intending as well to knit a little bit more slowly and more at ease and live a little bit more than dive into the knitting world, even though I really love the knitting world and I enjoy making these videos as well, and I enjoy connecting with you all. And I really want to thank you all as well for all the lovely comments and all the nice things that you make that I can also get more inspiration from. So please let me know as well underneath the video what you're making on at this moment, because I love to talk about knitting and I love to hear about knitted work. So it was really funny to see that all the projects that I picked out were actually on different levels, giving me dilemmas why I froze for some kind of reason. So I stopped knitting it because there was a difficult part and I didn't understand it. And that was really good for me as a mirror to look at myself, what is happening with me. And now I picked up again all the works actually, and I'm just going to do it slowly, but also more, how you say, prudent. So making sure that I don't overlook any hazards that I actually have in my life, and that reflects in my knitting work, if you understand what I mean. So, for example, we will start with the Moby sweater, the one behind me. I will pick it up. And this is the pattern from Petite Knit. And actually, what this sweater taught me was that I should have taken more care of reading the pattern. And that was really the main thing. But also that I'm now knitting more, that when I have any doubts, I just stop knitting and I think about the doubts, and I'm not continuing knitting because it's my inner voice, my intuitive voice that is saying there's something wrong. And I really want to listen to that, and I think my knitting can help me listen to that voice. And it has, now I'm following the voice, the intuitive voice. It really helps me, and I'm not, sometimes I could also knit on stupidly and then knowing that I want to change the mistake, but convincing myself that I don't want to correct the mistake. But what I did wrong with the Moby sweater, and I talked about it as well in my Everything I Knit in 2024, is actually that the neckline, I think it's too small for me. That's still the problem. But when I was knitting it, so the construction is that you first start with the back, then you make short rows, and then you start with the left shoulder and then the right shoulder. And in the pattern, it says that you have to make, for any size, 3 centimeters longer the front panels before connecting the fronts. But I actually, and also it said at least 8 rows. There should be a difference of 8 rows with the front and the left, the front and the back panel. And actually, I think now I know that it's supposed to do, you're supposed to make the back shorter than the front, so that this part, the back, will fall a little bit behind, like that. But what I actually read was that it should be at least 8 rows longer at the front than compared to the back, but not the 3 centimeters. And the 3 centimeters is actually, in my experience, a little bit longer than the 8 rows. Is it true? I should measure that, but I think it's longer. The 3 centimeters longer than 8 rows. So what happened with this one? Actually, in hindsight, when I'm wearing it, the armholes aren't that large as I think they would have got to be. And that's also why I get in the back a little bit that it crawls up. So what I'm going to do with this sweater is I'm going to stick the neckline, and I'm going to make a separate video from it. It's not a tutorial, but it's just a separate video how I will do that, because I noticed that I don't wear this sweater that much and I think it's really sad. I'm not going to rip it out and make it again because I really love the yarn. I made it with Sunday from Sandnesgarn. So I'm going to stick it from this part up to here, so that you don't see this part as well anymore. So from here till there, and from the back. So, sorry, I need to drink something. And from the back, of course, I will take it a little bit lower as well. And I figured out if it doesn't work out, you always have to think about, do you mind if it doesn't work out the way you would like to? And I actually don't mind if it doesn't work out the way I wanted to, because now I don't wear it as much as I would like to. And I'm only wearing it during the night when I'm really cold. And I think this sweater should be worn as well during the daylight. So yeah, this needs a little bit more adjusting. It. Then I started 2 Moby Juniors as well, and that's why I noticed it, because I was knitting the first one for my eldest daughter, this one, in a size 9 to 10, because she's 9 years old. I haven't put away all the, I have to weave in all the ends, but I didn't, because for some reason I don't do that immediately, only afterwards. But I noticed with this one, I'm holding the Sunday double. So the single Sunday, I'm holding a double, so you get a double Sunday from Sandnesgarn. And I'm knitting it with a mohair from, oh, there's some stuff. It's lying in my basket. I need to clean the basket. It's terrible. Oh, all the things. So this is from Rerum de Natura, Berenice. Sorry, the camera is over there. Berenice. And it's extra fine mohair. I bought this at Cross and Woods in The Hague. And it's 210 meters for 25 grams, I think. Yeah, 25 grams. And it's super kid mohair, silk and wool. It's really nice color, I think. And to pair it up with this color, from Sandnesgarn. And this is color 3553. And this one is color Argyle. So together with this one. Let me see. So I always have to think, what was I saying? So I started this one and I noticed that what I did wrong with my Moby sweater, first with the back, I measured it from here, from the cast on edge until here, the centimeters. And when I was knitting mine, I measured the front panel here, and then I figured that's too long. I don't need it that long. But now I was, more prone to be a little bit more recalcitrant against. I thought about it against up the stream. I don't know. So recalcitrant. What is the name in English? So you don't listen to the things that you are told, but you're doing something different. And so what I did eventually with this one, I measured, of course, at the same part. And then I thought, oh, I'm doing it totally wrong. I don't need to measure here, because of course then it will be way too long. But I need to measure here. And do I think... yeah, because that's what I thought here, then it will be much too long. So I stopped here earlier in the armpit. And that's what I didn't do with this one. And you can see that when I'm holding it, I need to get from someone else. So if I'm putting it on a cloth like this, then you see that it's, I think, when I just fitted it with her, and this is a little bit higher, but not too much as compared to the sweater that's made for me. So yeah, I don't, I did, yeah, how you say, I did it better with this one. And then I made it as well for my youngest. And at that part I really, so first I wasn't convinced of the pattern. And now I was a little bit convinced. And with this one, I was totally convinced. And I even added a little bit more centimeters. So the mohair is really sticky to my hands. So I added even more centimeters to the front. So you can see this one really falls correctly. So as well, so this is the back and these are the shoulders. And you can see that it falls better compared to this one. This one has a tendency that the back comes up too much. So what would I advise you? If you're making this one, the Moby sweater, really pay attention that the front panels should be really longer and also longer than you think they would be. So yeah. What do I want to say more? Oh yeah, what I did with this one as well, I just knitted the front until this part was even with the back part. I don't know the name of this one. It's the cross cables, I think. And the large cables, I just do, the back is the same on both sides and the front is the same, but they're not, I cabled them on a different time than the back. I also increased more rows for the neck opening because my children have a large head like I am, like I have. So they need a larger neck line. So I did that with this one as well. And I changed, I don't know if you see, but I already started the cross cables here. And I think that is more pretty. Then you don't see stockinette at the beginning. And I did that as well with this one. And of course the moss stitch at the side. I really enjoyed that so much. It's such a nice view. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really nice pattern. I can really recommend it, but please pay attention what you're doing. And don't knit like me, that you do it and then afterwards think, oh, that's not that handy. And this one I'm actually knitting. I don't have that yarn with me. It's downstairs. With a double Sunday with a mohair from Knitting for Olive, I think. Yeah, and I normally don't knit with mohair for my children, but I had this, from this one I had it in stash, and it didn't go well with the other color from this one, the mohair. So yeah, you understand, I had to buy again, I say some mohair and again some Sunday. Yeah. Sometimes knitters can be very good in persuading themselves to buy yarn for different reasons, to get other yarns out of your stash. But these are really kind of, so for 50%, these are stash busters. But this is so cute. Look at that. And I want to make that one as well again in a darker green for myself with double Sunday. I don't know if I will pair it with mohair, but I will want to make it again and try to correct my mistake. But look at that, that's really nice. Like in a couple of weeks, we have 3 Moby sweaters in this house. Then I'm going to I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the Arctic Light. This is this one. It's a pattern by Kutavakika, and I'm not sure what is the front and the back or the back. I think this is the front. Look, the back really looks the same. But I think this is the front. There are also no short rows, so it really doesn't matter which is the front or the back. I'm knitting this in a size large, and I'm using Peer Gynt from Sandnesgarn, and I'm knitting it on a 5.0 millimeter needle. The Moby sweater, by the way, is on a 4 millimeter needle. And with this pattern, I had some doubts as well, because I actually didn't like the neckline, and I thought it was a little bit too high for me. So when it gets too high, then I don't know, I feel like a cake with some whipped cream on it. And I don't know if I enjoy feeling the way like a cake. Because I'm quite large, then I have the feeling that the sweater makes me large as well. But I'm really enjoying the pattern to make it. So I was thinking about ripping it out, but I'm definitely not going to rip it out. And I will continue making it and enjoy making it as well. And I will just figure out what I will do with the neckline. If I will make it longer even, or even maybe make it shorter, that it's actually that the sweater, because of the weight, will fall down a little bit like this, and it won't be that cropped at the neckline, I hope. It's a really nice pattern. I tried to not make that much increases in the raglan, but that didn't turn out that nice. So I just followed the pattern totally, and I just increased where she wanted to have the increases. And now I split for the arms, and I think it's a beautiful pattern, and I really enjoy especially this cable. It's so pretty. I really love that. I really love that the most, and I of course love the Peer Gynt, the color. I'm not sure if I have any here. It's a color 2564, and Peer Gynt is 50 grams for 91 meters. It's really gorgeous and really beautiful, and it really has a rustic feeling. It's not superwash. Yeah, what else can I tell you? And I will figure, I say, if you've seen it already, I will fit it as well, and then you can see me twirling around into the Arctic light. If that's the sentence. Then I have a new cabinet. It's from my grandfather, and I'm going to put all my haberdasheries inside. And of course, this is the pot my grandfather made. I already showed it a lot. And here's the Fjaere Genser. And that's by Rauma. I will put it as well on this cloth. We say kleding hanger. Clothing hanger. So this is the Fjaere Genser, and I made it in a large, I think. So the neckline is in a large, and eventually the increases and around I did the size medium, because I didn't want to have too much, because the large has 35 centimeters of positive ease and I wanted to have 24. And a friend of mine, she's very gifted with sewing and also knitting. Yeah, she does knit. Yeah, she also has her own podcast, but it's in Dutch only. Sorry. And she said to me, because I was doubting to make a small size, and then I would have 5 centimeters around. And then she said, yeah, but that's really almost 0 to nothing positive ease. Am I saying it correctly? I need to check the pattern. So yeah, so I wanted to make an S, and then it would be so I would have 15 centimeters positive ease. And then she said, yeah, but that's almost nothing. And you only have around 3.5 centimeters around on 4 points. So you can do better. So to really have a little bit more positive ease, 24 centimeters is really all right, because then on the 4 points of your shoulders, at front and the back, you have 6 centimeters, and that's really positive ease. So 0 positive ease is more like a bathing suit, and then 15 centimeters is more or less well fitted, but to really have a positive ease, that it falls around you, it would be 24 centimeters. So that's what I did. I got this beautiful book from Rauma Garn in the Netherlands, and actually this one is in English. So the Rauma has books in English as well. I only did 1 raglan stitch. The pattern recommends something like 3 or something, and I thought there was a little bit too much. And so now I split it for the body and the arms, the sleeves. And now I'm just going to continue knitting until these balls of yarns are empty. And then I start with the sleeves. And then I know how much yarn I've left to do the whole length as long as I want, because I really want to make a dress out of it. And actually, for the neckline, I used 1 skein of this. Oh, we got flying yarn here. 1 skein of this one. So I'm really curious how much I will eventually knit up. And I forgot to tell you, but I used Rauma Fivel, and it's really Fivel. Sorry, I need to look it up. Rauma Fivel. It's really funny that if you don't record that much anymore, you don't need to think about really the yarn that you're using. And when you're recording again, then you need to think about it, that you have to talk about it. But it's Fivel, and I really enjoy this Rauma. I love the Rauma Fino as well, but the Fivel, it has a little bit more softness around it. So I think it's less prickly than the Fino, and it's also, of course, thicker. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this yarn. It's really nice and lovely. I can really recommend it, but they don't have that much color in it, so that's the only thing. And I bought it at Woonhuis, I think. It's a Dutch website. But really looking forward to this beautiful sweater. And then I can finally have my period covered in the blanket. But I think it will be my periods in the winter of 2025. Not this one. So sadly, too bad. Then I'm knitting the Sunday cardigan by Petite Knit. Oh, everything is going around. So everything is falling down here. I'm knitting the Sunday cardigan from Petite Knit, and I'm using the Alafos Lopi, and I'm knitting it on a different needle size than recommended. So not for the Alafos, but for the pattern. In the pattern, you have to knit on a 7mm needle, and I'm knitting it on a 6. And the hems, I'm knitting on a 5mm needle. And with this one, it has also been a dilemma. I forgot to tell you, but with the Fjaere Genser, I knitted this part back and then I knitted this part back. So that's why it took me a long time as well. And that's why there was also a lot of struggling and dilemmas here. But this one had also a dilemma because I changed a lot of needles for the hem at the bottom edge. I thought when I was knitting it on a 5mm needle, the hem would turn around, and I don't like that, so I thought I would change to a 4mm needle. But then it got a little bit too tight, so I thought it didn't look that nice, so I ripped it out again, and I'm starting over again just with a 5mm needle, and I'm just going to knit the hem a little bit longer. So this one I also did already 3 times. And just to keep myself busy, you know, because what else would I do? Then I would be hanging around on the streets. So, and of course, this is really fun. Huh? Knitting back and forth is so much fun. So I'm going to knit now with a 5mm needle. I'm going to knit it, the recommended length of the hem is 10 centimeters, but I'm going to do it like 2 centimeters longer. And I did also some adjustments here because first with the neckline, I thought it would be stretching out too much. So I did 1 row of attaching it to each other, and then one row of stockinette sort of. And then I did the rib for this part. So yeah, you can see it as well. The inside, I have 2 rows. One the attachment row and then the stockinette row, because I hope that it will stay a little bit more fitted like this, because otherwise I thought it was a little bit too much stretch on it. So I hope this will do the trick. And of course, then it's almost finished, because I only need to knit the sleeves and the hem. And for the border, because you don't knit any button band, I did a kind of I-cord bind off, but then still it's different. How would you say that? So I knit, maybe if I explain it, maybe someone else knows the name, because I don't know. We call it in Dutch half a board stake, so a half hem stitch. I don't know, but you actually knit these 3 stitches double. So on the right side, I would knit and then slip with yarn in front, knit. And then on the wrong side, I would do slip with yarn in front, knit, slip with yarn in front, and then do the row. And I did that with the first 3 of the the wrong side row and the right side row. So there are 3 stitches, and I actually casted on 2 stitches extra to do so. Yeah. But I think that makes a beautiful bottom band, even though it's not a bottom band. But I don't know. I hope that it will make the stretch that I want it to have, and that it doesn't, because it's always difficult to say that a bottom band can also a little bit going down, and I don't want that. So this is more tighter than this part. You cannot see it, but I can feel it. So I hope it will do the trick. Yeah, and looking forward to wearing this as well, but I feel like I'm knitting on this for months already. Yeah, let me organize this around here. Then there was a dilemma with the Northeasterly blankets, which I keep in this basket. So for already a long time, I had a part in my Northeasterly blanket that I didn't like. And this is a pattern, by the way, by Shenanigans. And you can knit it with a fingering weight or a DK weight, but I do it with a fingering weight. So I use 2.5mm needles. But there was some point in this blanket, and that was starting here, that I didn't like. And this was actually the beginning row. So I cut it out and then figured out this is not going to work and it's not going to happen as I want it to be. So I ripped it out totally, the part that I cut it here, the whole part. And eventually I wanted to make a Kitchener stitch and bind it together again, or knit it together again, but that didn't work out because I couldn't get the needles on a row. I couldn't get my ducks in a row. So I ripped it out again and knit it up again. And I already started an extra row on this side because I didn't really enjoy this as an edge as much. And I don't feel like I made it any better, but I started on the right edge, and that doesn't really, that's not described in the pattern actually. So I really needed to think, really hard how to do that. And eventually I managed to do it. So, and I also posted how to do that side. Of course, not the whole pattern. I wouldn't do that, of course, but just only the part that you can attach on the right side, because I couldn't find it anywhere. And I think that's really handy because sometimes you feel like one edge, especially at the right side, you begin there. So you don't know, at least I don't know how the blanket will appear eventually. And I felt like there needed to be another stroke of stroke. No, stroke is something else in English. We would say a stroke. Another line of knitting at this side. And then if I'm finished with this one, then I have 7 rows. And then I'm going to finish or start again on the normal side, on the left side, and knit as you go, that you attach it. That's it about my hinterland, my Northeasterly blanket, and I'm really enjoying it again. And it's almost addictive to knit on this. And I want to make 12 rows eventually. And so as a summary, I cannot really recommend cutting into your Northeasterly blanket. So don't do that. Don't do the things that Marleen does. Some things I would recommend, but cutting into the Northeasterly blanket, it eventually turned out quite well, and I'm very happy with the result, but I wouldn't advise you to do it. Okay, that's it. And then I have my other blanket, but I do think that it's going to be a cardigan. This one. And I'm really enjoying making this one. I just casted on 240 stitches. And I'm using all my scrap yarns or my Advent old fingering weight yarns, and I'm holding it double, and I'm just going to knit rows and then see how it goes. And I think eventually this can be a cardigan as well. I fitted it, and my daughters are the whole time saying, "Don't make a blanket of it, Mom. This can really be a cardigan. It's so nice." So because of my children, I'm going to make a cardigan out of it. And anything else, I'm knitting it on, where's the size? On a 4.0 millimeter needle. And I just cast it on with the and I just cast it on 1 by 1 rib and knit it approximately 8 centimeters or something, or a small 10 centimeters, and then continued knitting it up like this. But if it's going to be a cardigan, I really want to make a long one, like my no frills cardigan. And so then it would be that I'm only around here. I will make a video, you can see it a little bit better. So I need to continue knitting a little bit more on this one. Wow, I had so much to talk about it, and I had so much to talk about, and I'm very happy that I did, because it kept coming back in my mind and that I wanted to record. But I'm so happy that you watched the video until here, and I really want to thank you, and thank you for your lovely comments. And if you like the content, please give a like and subscribe so you can follow me for some more. And I hope to see you soon again. And happy knitting, of course. Bye!